So I want to say cheers for watching. Um, Honestly, man, like I never imagined myself I'd ever be like doing a sort of weird playthrough, as I've been told. Sort of, like it is kind of strange. It really is. Some dude putting his fan fiction up there on YouTube. But at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Um, it all comes from the idea of, I think it was around COVID time, just before COVID really kicked off, around November. I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then I found out about Korra, and Korra really fucked with me, man. I mean, I love a good romance, as you know. I'm a dude. I love boobs. I love ass. I love all that, important dude stuff. But I do like a good, well constructed romance, and it reminded me of someone I lost a long time ago when Korra and Asami. And I hated that they started the romance at the very end of the TV series, like literally at the end of it. I didn't like that. It reminded me of someone that I lost that I never got to spend um, my time with because of their death. And that really messed with me, man. It really did. It kind of like Arcane did. I don't know. I don't know if. I don't know. Both of them really messed with me. I think I've got a thing for fictional lesbian main characters, as you can probably see with my characters themselves. um, but like I don't know, man. Like so many ideas came to pass, right? The first idea was pretty much like I wanted to play Skyrim, but I wasn't the number one character. I wasn't the boss. I wasn't the Dragon Ball. I was just some insignificant ant. I'd go out, do a bounty mission, die, and then come across my corpse later. You know? That'd have been so cool. And then eventually there was a mod like that, and it's an old mod called Alternate Actors, and I still use it, obviously. Um, and yeah, I just love the idea of playing different characters that aren't the Dragonborn. And I came across the idea that maybe, Skyrim's story could be a lot more enhanced. Like, dramatically. And I mean, it's been so much fun to play Skyrim like this. It really has. I mean, end of the day, I really hope people take something out of this of their own characters, of their own stories, and build something on their own with their structure. And like again, obviously you'll keep it private and play it on your own, but trust me, man, you'll have so much fun playing it. So much fun. Um, you know, I've played Skyrim for way too long. I really have. I think it's stolen my life. Since 2011. I was 17 years old when it came out. And I'm 30 now. So I know the ins and outs of Skyrim's story. Have I discovered everything? Everything? Good chance I haven't. I mean, there's still things I come across that are brand new to me. And it is crazy when it happens. But, I know Skyrim's story kind of inside and out, and I kind of know what kind of character or role suits what. And I build a story around it. It starts off with Cecilia, who is a character I'd love to explore when Sky Oblivion comes out. And then it starts off with Minerva. And I really like Minerva. She's, high elves are typically known as, powerful mages or assholes. And I really wanted to kind of, spice up a bit, where she wasn't just a mage wearing robes. She was a spellblade. She knew how to use a blade. She knew how to use magic. She was very practical. She was adventurous. She liked to explore. She liked to unearth things. Archaeologists, anthropologists, or whatever fucking word I'm making up right now. And she's very practical. She wears armor, and if magic fails her, her blades won't. She's very smart, very intellectual. Sometimes I use an AI when I'm spell checking myself to make it sound smarter because the words aren't in my vocabulary at all. And I'll look at her and I'm like, oh, all right, that sounds smart. She'll say that. So I'll put my version in, and then the AI will be like, all right, let me make this look intelligent. And I was like, ooh, yeah, rightio. And then, it kind of, then it goes to Tonrak, him being the Harbinger. I didn't want to go a Nord. I think before that, the guy was called Torbert the Wolf. I want to spice up a bit, like it is Skyrim, and I realised later on that I was missing a few Nords. I mean, when it comes down to it, you've got Sigund, you've got Freya, and obviously Ragni. 3 Nords. I kind of failed that. Now I've got Serana, and now I've got Topher. And for the Thieves Guild, and before that was a Wood Elf called Tonril from like the Hobbit series or some shit. But I really wanted, a native. Again, a Nord. Why not? I mean, it's kind of a cool idea because you don't really imagine Nords to be rogues, to be archers and dual wielders and sneaky types. You imagine to be battle axe wielding warriors that love to drink mead and sing and honour and all that sort of stuff. And having her be sort of a wood elf, Khajiit, dark elven sort of character. just sound like fun. Same thing with Tonrak and his, him being a Redguard and Minerva being not her typical sort of self and all that sort of stuff. It was just the idea of this all pretty much came from the birth of Team Avatar. I mean, this is Team Dragonborn, Team Dovahkiin. Obviously, none of these guys can teach the Dragonborn how to be the Dragonborn, like many of the Benders can teach the Avatar how to bend their elements. But every last one of them has a vital role, not just to protect, but to teach. To kind of self-reflect of somebody else. Growing up as a kid, you hang around your dad, you hang around your older brothers, and you see what they do, and you see how they get in trouble, and sort of the consequences and the rewards of their actions, and you kind of learn from that. And, when Ragni's first started off, people really didn't like her. And I was kind of like, that's cool, great, because that means I can build upon her, and hopefully they'll come to like her one day. And I've always envisioned sort of Ragni to be a Sakatano in a way. My dead set, I don't know, she's my first favourite female character. And from what I hear now, they do. I mean, she's matured quite a lot. And again, young people mature in very tense situations. And they will grow up very fast. And obviously in a place like Skyrim, where you're not on your phone all day, or being a useless prick to society, being a TikToker, or a YouTuber. And, she's had to grow up on a farm with a father, and it's not a perfect life, but she's still young, and you're always still, there's something that you just can't really learn at a young age, and that is obviously experience. And she does start off as a bit naive and a bit young, young and stupid. But hanging around all these other people, especially throughout her story, has very much matured her up, opened her eyes. And there's still moments where her age will sort of show. She is 19, turning 20. That age of hers will peek through because it's natural. But then there's times where she's quite wise and quite, courteous when it comes to certain things. She clicks on a lot more. And I like growing these characters, even all of them, man. Like, I love that. And I don't ever write this shit down, man. I've got, nothing to write this stuff down. I work with what feels right. And that's kind of what I've gone through with this series. It wasn't about views, it never was. It was just about a cool idea that I thought was just floating around in my head, and I thought, what if I make this cool idea in my head, and I can show people through their own eyes what I mean by a cool story. And that's what I did. I just, and obviously the first one always is a pretty big hit, and then it drags on, and then it kind of gets a bit slow, and people disappear, and they come back, or they take off completely. I mean, that's okay, because again, I've been doing this for 2 years. I don't expect anybody that started with me with Chapter 1 to still be here. Or anyone right here, right now, that could be around with, Chapter 69 comes by. I guarantee if I ever get there, we're going to walk past someone with their clothes on doing a standing 69. So, be ready for that. But again, it's not for views. I mean, obviously views are cool, and I really appreciate the people that come in that are fans, that talk. Man, what I love the most is interacting with the people that watch this. I mean, if you're a silent type, if you don't put many YouTube's comments, I'd love to even hear your voice, man, because that'd be awesome. Not hear your voice, but see your comment. That sort of thing. Because I like just interacting, people asking questions, because when you produce a story that no one asks for, the number one thing you fear is that no one gives a fuck. And, you kind of just hope deep down someone does. And there's quite a few people that do, and I really appreciate you guys. It's awesome. And hopefully I can grow this community bigger to people that really like the story ideas. People do ask my mod list, but I don't really necessarily know how to share it. There's quite a few mods that I've made myself, and the Lovers Lab mods. Pretty much just sex labs or big old schlongs of Skyrim. Nothing too deranged, nothing too Lovers Lab material. But yeah, it's really, and I definitely enjoy making this. I really do. I don't know how I do it. I really fucking do not know. I mean, the episodes were not planned until I finished the Dark Brotherhood chapter. I was just going to skip forward, have the Dragonborn rock up in a dragon armor, and that she'd gone through many different ruins and achieved many different things. Just time skip. But I was like, it's not a good idea. I should just get into it. And I did it, and thank God I did, man, because every single episode has just been completely random. I just follow off an idea from the last, and it just works. And the characters grow so much, they show so much human-like features, and I really like that. I mean, I'm not sitting here with a fucking graph on my wall saying, make Cecilia more human, make Tonrak more honourable, Make Freya not so much a, chasing the ladies. This or that. It just comes naturally. I don't know how I do it. I don't know what the fudge it's all about, but I love growing these characters, and they evolve while I'm playing it, and I love watching it, man. Like these guys, I'm pretty much watching it with you. But I have to get angry when the shit doesn't work out for the sake of the story, because an NPC is being an absolute pain in my ass, and I decapitate him a few times before I go and cool off, and I come back, and then hopefully the scene works. But it's just a story that evolves while I'm playing it. I mean, the idea of having Cecilia become more human, I don't know if that was ever a thought back in the day. I really don't know if it was. She's, I don't know, like some of these characters, as their stories have enhanced dramatically. Dramatically, that doesn't sound like the right word I'm trying to use. Dramatically, that's it. It's like Sigan, for example. When I first started the series, I just planned Sigan being a Stormcloak character. She was going to have a certain father in mind, and I definitely wanted her to lean into the whole romance with Centauros. But I didn't know she was going to have so much, especially the liberation of Whiterun. Like, I had no, I was so excited to do that, man. When I found out that I could actually do that, I was like, yeah, 100% doing that. I'm getting into that. And that episode didn't get many views, but I still love making it. What chapter, whatever. You're going to get confused all these days. And then, obviously, Ragni, right? So when I first play tested her, her idea was created in the Thelmore prisons, because I could never make sense of Centauros' story being an Imperial soldier and then doing what he did with the Thelmore and then being sifted back into the Legion, especially as a Dragonborn legionary, which that's the last thing that ever allowed since Tiber Septim was like that. I created the idea of a young female Nord, because I play male characters, I do. Centauros is my male character. And then I wanted a native, and then I thought, I want to play a female character, and then boom, created Ragni, a young woman. I liked that idea, so I went with that, and that's how she was created, in the Thelmore prisons. And then, when I first play-tested her, she didn't go and join the Bard's College. She basically became an adventurer and met a young man and fell in love with him and joined his mercenary team. The dragons came through and killed her, and then she was pissed, mad, angry, and whatever. But, honestly, man, even doing this story, it just took hold of itself. I mean, especially, like, I didn't even know, like, I just wanted something for the two sisters to do when their father was home, so maybe, like, sing the flute, and the idea hit me. I was like, wait, what if, she's obviously going to die, what if it was a dream of theirs to become bards? So that means I can actually do that content, because not a single one of these characters, at all, suit the bard's questline. Freya, fuck no. Sigurd, fuck no. Centauros, definitely not the singing type. Minerva, no. Cecilia, definitely not. And the Nightingale, nah. And Tonrak, definitely not. He's there rooting the bards, okay? He's in the Bards College, spreading his seed to all the local ladies he can. But then, the idea, because it's at the time, I'm not sure if the Bards College DLC was out there yet, but Ragni suited that purpose right there, because her and her sister used to play instruments as kids, and I was like, holy shit, she could actually go to Solitude instead of becoming an adventurer, and I could still lead her to becoming an adventurer, because those quests send you out into different parts of Skyrim to find items, and she could still be an adventurer, but also complete the Bard's College, and then lead on to the Dawnguard. When I first playtested it, Serana's dialogue wasn't all completed, so it was still the original voice actress, and then the SDA voice actress. I didn't like that. But by the time I rolled around for the second part, when I actually started the series, Serana was actually completed. She was finished. So all of her voice lines were replaced, and I was like, hell yeah. So, boom, it just worked. And it's honestly been a lot of fun. It's 2 years, and no doubt, who knows, probably in a couple more years. At the end of this series, it's like, do I take the turn to the, like, obviously it's a fan fiction, so it's not lore, it doesn't actually happen, it's just my version of Skyrim, as everyone else's version is their own version. What I really want to do is jump into Beyond Skyrim with some of these characters that make it through. Like, especially Centauros going back to Cyrodiil, for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil, maybe some original new characters, like I really want to make the Knights of the Nine character his own original character, and then, like, eventually, if I rewrite the story, that he comes and joins the Dragonborn, and I don't know if I really want to copy the episodes. I mean, half the fun of the episodes is that they're completely random, and I love that. I make them up on the spot. Or, maybe, who knows, like, especially if Morrowind comes to play, that Minerva after she settled down, and she might wander into Morrowind and explore that, because that was next on her list from Skyrim before all the shit hit the fan. I think Freya would definitely stay in Skyrim, and I think Tonrak would, maybe Cecilia, or she might go with Centauros and Sigan, or because or do I hide it into the events of the next Elder Scrolls game? Because I believe the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be very close. It was 30 years from Morrowind to Oblivion and 200 years from Oblivion to Skyrim. I believe that the next Elder Scrolls game is going to take place really close to the events of Skyrim, like maybe even years. Like who knows, it could be like a week or a year after the events of Skyrim have happened. Or it could even be wild enough that it's happening at the exact same time. So they don't have to talk about who won the Civil War. So it kind of then becomes a bit of a hassle beyond Skyrim story, and I don't know about that. But again, I don't know if all of the Beyond Skyrim mods will come out. I definitely believe Cyrodiil will. They're too far ahead and they've done too much to give up. But I definitely believe. I don't know. I don't know. Really, I'm just speaking up my ass right now. There was a quest line I wanted to get done with Ragni, which could have really had her disappear like every other Legends character, and that was going to be Apotheosis, but the model for that lived in Lebanon, and it was bombed by the Jews, and he hasn't been heard from in a long time, so there's a good chance he's KIA, and that mod is never coming out. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this entire thing, but I just want to thank you guys for chipping in and enjoying it. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just like, I'd love to know people just crack open a can of beer or a soft drink and grab their dinner, sit down by their computer or their TV and just watch my stuff like it's a television episode, pretty much. Or I inspire people to make their own stories. I even love it when I see people play my characters. That shit's so cool. And one day, the absolute dream is to see someone just jump on YouTube and create their own channel and tell a story like mine. Like they've taken ideas from my characters and made their own. They've got their very own Cecilia, their very own Tonrak, their very own Centauros and Sigurd. It could be reversed. It could be an Imperial female soldier and a male Stormcloak soldier, and the Stormcloaks win, and all that sort of crap. That's the sort of stuff I would love to see. But I think I've rattled on for too much right now, and all that sort of stuff. Everything just comes out my mouth. I do not filter it. But again, I hope you've enjoyed, and there's always some more good stuff to come. I'm thinking for the next bit of content that I will get 2 out in one night, and then maybe redo or edit the Dark Brotherhood one that I left off with and update it to the current times of the story, so people get updated that weren't here then, and sort of just fix up the timeline a little bit, with that sort of stuff. But again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and it'd be fun to grow the community bigger, to find more people that have no idea that exist but are going to love these stories in the future. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in another video. Look after yourselves.